I seriously can't believe this chapter. I'm I'm not gonna lie. This was the thing I feared for Sanji's character, was finding out everything that Pudding was up to. And I'm not gonna be like, I called it. You guys know, you watch the videos. I was one of the first people to be on that shit of like, yo, Pudding might not be like, y'all already know that, so I'm not gonna stress that. Yeah, it is what it is. A lot of us called it and shit like that. I stuck to my guns about Pudding. It started to look like Oda was really pushing it the other way. He did it a little bit different than the way Oda normally does things, and I know that there's people that are gonna be upset about it, that they're gonna say, hey, this was predictable, this was unlike Oda, but I think he tried his best to steer everyone away from the Pudding being evil theory. I mean, everything about, like, even keeping it a secret what she told to Luffy, like, it seems as though Oda was really pushing this shit that Pudding could potentially actually be good. She could actually not be this evil Jezebel that I kept on insisting on, because he really tried hard. So for the people saying that it was predictable or whatever, he tried his best at steering everyone, and there were a lot of people that were saying, you don't know what you're talking about, she's actually good or whatever. But I mean, she looked identical to the chick that we seen a couple arcs ago, I think it was, with the eye on her forehead and shit like that. It was obvious that at the end of the day, there was more to Pudding than meets the eye. So I don't know what people are upset about, because to be honest with you, this chapter, there was only one bit in the chapter that I felt was unneeded, unnecessary. That was the Chopper bit. I'll say right now, the Chopper bit, it seems as though Oda throws that in. Whenever he gets a chance to show Chopper running, he'll throw it in there, and it's kind of like, okay, they're looking for the exit, blah, 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 blah. But honestly, it just felt unnecessary. That was the only bit about this incredible chapter that was not necessary, because aside from that, Pedro versus Tamago, which I'm not that big of a fan of really minor characters, but that backstory about Pedro and shit like that, like, I love when you get those manly men, even though he's technically like not a man or whatever, he's a mink, but those manly motherfuckers that his dude, which, yo, Zeppo, now maybe I'm mistaken and I don't remember some shit like that, but I don't think we ever heard about Zeppo. Could that have potentially been Beppo's father, or maybe his older brother or something like that? Because he looked kind of like Beppo and he had Zeppo, so I'm thinking to myself, could that have been his father? Essentially, he tried to take the L. He spun. He got 100 years, only got 30, and all it took was 30 years to kill this motherfucker. So you could tell he was already kind of older at that point. And then there was, of course, 70 years left. And this man, Pedro, like, because this chapter, it was very well rounded with great content. It wasn't only the incredibleness of the reveal of Pudding and the tragedy. The tragedy, my boy, Sanji. It wasn't only that was incredible, because what Pedro did, taking the L, ripping his own eye out and saying, oh, an eye for an eye, here you go, I took that motherfucker's eye, take my eye. And even Big Mom, a Yonko, which at that point I don't think she was a Yonko yet, but even Big Mom had to respect it and say, I admire that shit, yo. Only 50 years. She still gotta be a bitch, instead of just saying, okay, fine, everything's squashed. Like, okay, I'll take 10 more years off. Like, bitch, he just gave you a fucking eye off. Like, Big Mom is a nasty bitch. Always like, Donald Trump would fucking call this bitch a nasty woman. That's what she is or whatever. But just that backstory in general, that alone would have been a pretty damn cool chapter. That alone would have been a good chapter, just getting all the focus on that. I mean, even when the reveal that Peckham was with Big Mom at that point, and seeing how Pedro felt or whatever, like, that backstory was good in of itself. But then, everything about this fucking bitch Pudding, I mean, okay, no, before we even talk about that, because I'm probably gonna talk for the remainder of the video about that, Luffy and Nami, like, I've never even seen Luffy in this desperate of a situation. I mean, he's been captured from time to time. We've seen times where, like, you know, they can't get out. I mean, you go back to when Crocodile had them locked up in a cage and shit like that. There's been times where Luffy wasn't capable of being mobile, so to speak, but he's talking about ripping his fucking arms off. Like, Oda is definitely taking a different approach, because a lot of people are saying there's many similarities with this arc to arcs we've seen previously in One Piece before the time skip. So I think that's why we're seeing a change in Oda's writing pattern. Some people might not like it, they might say it was predictable, whatever, but nonetheless, that's why we're seeing things getting a little bit darker, a little bit more edgier, so to speak. Like when Luffy's saying, I'm gonna just rip it out, I don't care if I lose the armor too. That reminds me, like, yo, he got that shit from Shanks. He was like, yo, my dude, Shanks can do it, I can do it too. I'll lose an arm. And now he's like, yo, what the fuck? Which, by the way, translation I read, bro, I'm grateful to be able to read this shit, but they're talking like if there's some edgy 14-year-olds, and that's not the actual dialogue. I'm just saying, stick to the fucking script. Stop improvising on the translations, because when the fuck would, I think it was either Nami or Luffy said twat. Like, when the fuck would they say twat or twat, or however you pronounce it, because, you know, some people pronounce it differently, but they don't say that. So I just gotta quickly point that out for people that read that same translation. There was some shit that was kind of off on that, but anyways, you're seeing a different pattern in Oda's writing, and he's writing a little bit darker for different things, and he's doing twists a little bit differently than he normally does, which, honestly, that's good to shake things up. I mean, again, there's gonna be people that argue against it, but I'm fine with it. And just the scenes in general, when Luffy was saying, and we finally got to see what Pudding told him, yo, like, I mean, it was obvious. I don't get how people are saying, oh, it shouldn't have been this way or whatever. Like, it's real fucking easy. Like, the directions that they took them to the wrong path, and then she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I just couldn't meet you guys there. No, Pudding was a fucking piece of shit from day motherfucking one. Actress, like, yo, this is them slum rat ass bitches. This type of bitch that you see with a fucking silver plaque hanging out with Zoe Berger type of bitch, alright? That's the type of bitch that this motherfucker is right now, okay? Like, fuck Pudding, because what she did to our boy. I said it, I don't know how many reviews ago. Sanji is going to be devastated by this, because you gotta think, he's right now looking at, essentially, if we're talking about it in a metaphorical way, it's a black world for him right now. There's nothing left. Everything that he possibly thought he can do is gone. All alternatives is out the way. He looked at Pudding as that one silver lining, his rescuer, his savior, the one good thing in his life right now when he can't go back to his friends, his peoples are in trouble, he's in a terrible place. This is gonna be what saves me mentally. And she's there laughing about him, saying she would never. And then the plan for the Vinsmoke, we're looking at possibly an all-out war right now, because you think Papa Vinsmoke, Judge, is gonna sit down like, ah, yeah, this bitch just trying to kill us and shit. Yeah, we just, yo, Big Mom, I'm gonna stick my dick in your ass. Yeah, let's chill. Like, no, he's gonna stick his foot in that bitch's ass. So we're potentially looking at Oda setting up a war. We're about to possibly have a war, which I don't know if the Vinsmoke can handle this shit, because to be honest with you, the Vinsmoke, from what I've seen, based on Sanji potentially being able to take him out if he wasn't using his little tricks and shit like that, they're not that strong. They're not like next level. They're strong, but I honestly think with no bullshit around, no guards to shove in front of him and shit like that, I think Sanji could probably beat up any of the Vinsmoke, including the brothers. Like, he pounded Yonji into the ground. Raiju took a beating from Pudding, so they're not that strong. So in a war, it's going to take more than just a Vinsmoke, and this is where I think everybody is going to have to be a combined effort to take down Big Mom and her people. And I mean, just got to think about it. All the setups Oda has done, this chapter yet again showcases that when things go down, there's not going to only be one set of people. You have, of course, the Straw Hats, Luffy and all of them are there. Then you got the Vinsmoke family. You got Jinbei there. Maybe some fishmen will roll up like, yo, bro, we came through, so we came through. So we're going to have a war right now, which is insane. Honestly, this chapter, it broke my heart. It broke my heart to see Sanji there. Like, this guy, like, his all blue, essentially, even though it was, like, you know, always, like, joked up to be, like, this manifestation of utopia, a perversion, like, yo, just pussy on my face all day, tits in my mouth all night type of shit. Essentially, what I look at it and what I can see from Sanji's characters, his all blue is just finding love with a chick. Like, no matter the perversion and everything, which I'm sure he would fuck the shit out of Pudding. Like, he would fucking stick his dick in that third eye. Ultimately, his all blue, I think, was just to be in love. I think so. To see his dream shattered, to see essentially the one fucking light that he had, and I know I'm more so just going on a tangent, a reaction, or whatever the case may be, but this is what it is. You're getting a review mixed with a reaction right now, because I can't help it. Like, my boy Sanji, I've been rocking with the Straw Hats for years now, and I can't. Like, Oda, I don't give a fuck when anyone says, Oda, yet again, you broke my heart in a very, very pleasant way, because this was an amazing chapter yet again. The only thing that stopped it from just being through the moon was those filler pages of Chopper, which I guess you gotta know what Chopper's up to, because he is part of this island ship, but that was the only thing, because Luffy's struggling to get out of there, showcasing that he's getting desperate. He's willing to rip his arms off on some Shanks shit. Pedro's backstory in his fight against Tamago, finding out what happened to his eye, potentially Beppo's father, Zeppo. Like, again, I might be mistaken that he might have been mentioned before. I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering or whatever. And then Pudding. She fucked up Raiju, bro. Like, A war is coming. I love this chapter. I'm still gonna give it, I want to say the 9 to the 9.5 out of 10. It was insane. Let me know what you guys think. I honestly gotta ask, you know, on a fan standpoint, because at the end of the day, we all fans. Fuck the critical shit. It's all good and gravy to do the critical shit, but on a fan standpoint, how do you feel? How do you feel right now seeing one of our characters that we've been rocking with for 850 chapters get shitted on like that? The bitch just shitted on him, talking about he's gonna get shot. Like, bitch, you about to lose that third eye. Yo, Pedro, take another eye, bro. Take that bitch's eye. Like, so amazing. Love this chapter, One Piece. Oda, 850 chapters and you're still showing us reasons why One Piece is what it is. Greatness. Fuck the haters right now, because Oda shows that no matter what you say, even on an emotional level, he'll still touch you 850 chapters later. Like, I love this chapter. Your overall thoughts of this one. How did you feel about Luffy saying he's willing to rip his arms off to get the fuck out of there? Do you think a war is coming against Big Mom's crew, Vince Smokes, Straw Hats, Jinbei and his fucking fishmen? Like, your thoughts on this, your reaction, your feelings. Like, do you feel bad for Sanji? Like, you gotta feel, if you don't feel bad for Sanji, where the fuck are your feelings, bro? Like, do you shove them in your arched cheeks? Like, but that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm FNebWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. Sanji, you're gonna be alright. Your All Blue is still out there. Fuck Pudding. Eat a dick, Pudding. I was right. We were right. Pudding is a bitch.